Hello everybody, my name is Samuel Moxham and I'm Head of Production at Our City Church in Auckland. This is a tutorial style video that's going to demonstrate how to set up and run your own live stream for your church using a method that will cost you nothing. In this video we're going to be using this piece of software here called OBS and streaming to Facebook Live as our platform of choice, but you can stream to whichever platform you wish. I'll show you how when we get to it. In this video, I'll start by teaching you the basics of OBS, how to combine different media types and output them to a stream, and then we'll run a live stream. I'll then go on and teach you how to use your mobile phone as a wireless virtual webcam. If you don't have any video devices, that's a useful trick to know, and how to join members of your congregation together live via a web calling service of your choice. We're going to be using Skype, and we're going to be calling my wife, who's in the room next door. And then I'm going to teach you how to output from a separate computer to your main streaming computer so that you can have two people operating your stream or outputting the certain type of media content that needs to be from a second computer. So before we get started, let's check everything that we need. You have everything that we need. So to start with, you need a computer. And then the computer will preferably have a hardline Ethernet connection for internet. But if Wi-Fi is your only option, it'll be sufficient. And if you don't have a webcam, an Android mobile phone. And the other thing you're going to need is time. I recommend sitting down with at least 4 hours to watch this video, have a play with the software, and thoroughly test live streaming so you can get confident in the software and the streaming reliability. So the first thing we need to check is your internet speed. So if you open up a browser, and we're just going to type in here speedtest.net. That's going to take us to this website here, and we're going to hit go. So we are looking for an upload speed that is a minimum of 1.5 megabytes per second. Today we'll be streaming at 10 megabytes per second. Anything lower than 1.5 megabytes per second, and it's going to start seriously harming the quality. So, a bit about OBS. It's an experienced piece of software. It's been around for quite a while, and lots of people use it. And because it's a piece of free and open source software, it's developed by a community of people. See, this is great for us because if there are any issues or we want to know how to do something, there is already a multitude of resources online at our disposal. So as you can see here, my upload speed is going strong, 18.34 megabytes per second, which is going to be enough to do a good quality stream. Now, if your upload speed was less than 10 megabytes per second, I'll show you where we can set up the upload speed later on when we're on OBS. So next thing we're going to need is software. So I'm just going to Google in OBS, and the top result should be here, Open Broadcaster Software. It'll take you to a web page like this. If you hit your operating system to get the installer, so you download this and then install it as you would a normal piece of software. Once you've done that, we're going to then search in New Tech NDI OBS plugin. And the top result should look something like this. And we're going to hit go to download. This will take us to the GitHub page, and we'll scroll down and we'll just select the relevant installer. So download and install that as well. At some point in the installation, it's probably going to prompt you that it's going to overwrite something within OBS. You're going to allow it to do that. So, when you first open up the software, let me just set my own up to make it look like it should. It is going to look something like this, and this is your blank canvas to put your masterpiece of a church service onto. So, let's take a quick look around. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to turn on studio mode down here. This is how I like it to look, and it's going to give us two black boxes. The one on the left is going to be called preview, and the one on the right is program. The preview box only you can see. That's where you can set up your images, and then when you hit transition, that'll go over to the program out, and that is what's being output to the stream. That is what everyone can see. If you come down to the left, it's going to say scene sources, audio mixer, and then controls and scene transitions. Let's create a scene. This scene, I'm just going to use the one that's already here by default. I'm just going to rename it to webcam. Then I'm going to add a source. And this is all the different sources that you can have. So I'm going to add a video capture device. I'm going to name it webcam. Webcam. And whoa, there you go. You can see me. It's not very flattering, but that's a thing that is happening now. There you go. And now let's go down and create a new scene. I'm going to call this desktop. And in this scene, I'm going to select a source that is going to be a display capture. And if you have more than one display, your options will show up here. And I'm just going to show display 1, which is the one we're looking at now. I'm going to hit OK, and now that is coming up as an input. Let's add a video as well. So I'm going to add in another source into the scene, and that source is going to be a media source. And let's load in a video. Now, as you can see, that hasn't shown up. If we transition to program, that's going to start playing. Oh, and there's my face again. And now we can move this around and edit it. Let's have both going at the same time. So as you can see, the video is on top of the display. That is to do with the order here. What's on top here is going to be physically on top on the stream. So if we use these arrows, we can move the video down, and the desktop is then on top and is overlaid on top of the video. If we hit transition, that will then go to our program out. And let's add another scene, and I'm just going to call this a holding slide. And we're going to go in and I'm going to add I'm going to add an image. I don't know where I stored the welcome image. We'll do a thank you for joining us image. There you go. That's nice. And now we can hit transition, and that'll go across. So we then come to audio mixer. You can see here that the media source is metering. That's because this video here is playing, and that's got some audio in it. Now your audio mixer probably has a desktop audio meter there, and one labeled as a mic or auxiliary. I've currently got those hijacked on my recording software, but we can bring that up. If we go into settings here in control and go to audio, these are all the different devices you can set up. So as you can see, desktop audio is disabled for me. I can enable it with default, hit apply, then I'll now show up. I can also add my microphone in. I'm just going to hope this isn't going to knock it out of the recording. I think I am... what input am I using? That one. There you go. You can see my voice metering there very nicely. Now, because I have an external audio device that's showing up as an option, it's likely that if you're just on a normal computer, it will be just showing up with like a Realtek ASIO or something like that. But for me, I've got that. And then if we come across, we've got scene transitions. So we have two options, fade or cut. Cut will cut and fade will fade. There you go. And you can set the speed of the fade there. And then we have our controls. So we have the option here to start streaming, and that'll start pushing our program out to a server that's going to distribute our footage. Or we can start recording, which will start a local recording onto your hard drive. Studio mode, which we clicked earlier. And settings. While we're in settings, let's take a look at a few things. So we're going to come over here to output, and I'm going to change our mode to advanced. Excuse me. So here you can see a few options. We're just going to go through and set this up to stream to Facebook. Now, Facebook actually changed their rules lately. It used to be that they only allowed 2.5 megabyte a second bitrate upload speed, but now I think it's uncapped. I think you can push as much as you want. So for us, we're going to set that to 10,000. Now, if you're in that speed test that we did earlier, your upload speed was lower than 10,000, you can enter 10,000 here and it will just push as much as it can. But it'll be good if you could set it to a reasonable amount. So I like to go 20% below your upload speed. That gives that sort of like a margin of error for the speed to fluctuate, but stay steady when you're outputting. Because of course, if it's pushing at its maximum, it's going to be fluctuating. So you're going to have drops in quality and improvements in quality. So say, if your upload speed 6 megabytes per second, I'd probably go 4,500 or something like that. 10,000, and we're going to change our keyframe interval to 2. In audio, we're going to change our audio bitrate to 128. On all of them. I'm not sure if they've changed the rules on audio. It used to be that it was 128. I'm going to stick with that. And then if we come over to audio, we'll set our sample rate to 44.1. It's possibly that by default. And in video, it used to be that your maximum output had to be 720p, 1280 by 720, but now you can do 1920 by 1080. And that is your stream set up, ready to go. So let's open up Facebook. So in here, I'm just going to type in www.facebook.com/live/create. And that's the URL that takes you to directly to streaming. There are ways to get to it from your Facebook page, which I think is just live video or go live. But when you open it up, it should look something like this. Again, this whole UI changed just a couple weeks ago, and it's been changing every few days, it seems. So now, use Stream Key is here. We're going to be using Stream Key. You have the option to use a camera if you just want to use a camera directly. But we're using a Stream Key today, and that's going to enable us to use OBS. And under here, under Get Started, we're going to check Use a Persistent Stream Key. And then that's going to provide us with a URL and a stream key. And we can copy these straight into OBS. So if I hit copy here, and we go into OBS, and go into the settings, and go stream, we select our service. So as you can see, Twitch is the default, which is sort of like a video gaming live streaming platform. YouTube is an option here. And Facebook Live is an option here, but we're going to be using custom, and we're going to paste that server in. So a stream key is universal to streaming platforms. So if you're choosing to use a platform other than Facebook, this is the exact same method. They'll provide a stream key, and all you have to do is copy that into here. So that is my stream key. I'm going to hit apply and hit start streaming, and this video should now show up on Facebook. So there's about a 10-second delay, but yep, there we go. You can even see me checking for it with a 10-second delay. And then if you are sharing to a page, you'd share to a page, which will be your church page. For now, I'm going to share to my timeline, and I'm going to just choose specific friends. So at the moment, my specific friends are the leadership in the church, because we do a rehearsal stream the day before each Sunday, where they can view the stream that's going to happen on Sunday, and we can test things and make sure that any technical issues that are going to pop up are going to pop up the day before, so we have time to fix it. We're going to hit go live. Just going to think about it for a second. And here we are live. So if we then go to my Facebook page, just give me a second. I'm going to do this off screen just so I don't show something that one of my friends is showing or something like that. And go to my own Facebook page, which is here. you can see I am now live, and we can... Brilliant. I can write a comment. And that is us live streaming. Remarkably easy. So let's go to the next thing we're going to do, which is going to be setting up your phone as a webcam. Just give me a second. So if you don't have a webcam for yourself, or you want to have the option to wirelessly roam while live streaming for yourself, we have the option of running it from your phone. So this is my phone. That's my lovely wife. And as you can see, I haven't done much walking today. And we're going to go to the Play Store. And in the Play Store, we're going to search in NewTek NDI. And that's going to come up with the option for IP webcam. They changed about a month ago. And now IP webcam. And when you install it and open it up, it's going to look something like this. Now there's a few settings I'm going to show you in this. So to start with, we'll go to video preferences. As you can see, my video resolution here is 1280 by 720. I'm going to set that to the same resolution that we're outputting our stream at, which is 1920 by 1080. Okay. And then we are going to go to audio mode, and I'm not going to be using audio from my phone, so I'm going to disable that. But if you don't have a separate audio device, you can use the audio, and that will also transmit into OBS. I'm sorry, something important to note is when using the software, it needs to be on the same network as your streaming computer. So I'm hooked up to the Wi-Fi, which is the same network that this computer is on right now. And once you've had a look over the settings, those are the only important settings, you can hit... I pushed it a little prematurely then, and I forgot what it was labeled. Hit Start Server. And just wait for my recording to catch up. And it's going to look like something like this. As you can see, I can now record in front of me what it looks like. And I'm just going to put the screen down on a black surface. And as you can see at the bottom there, we've got an IP address. So if we go back to the computer and go to a browser, we can now type this IP address straight into the computer. So 192.168.1.234 : 8080 is it's going to need to take to connect, and it's going to look something like this. And if we hit browser on video renderer, we can now see my phone is on my computer. Magical. And then on this browser, we have actually got full control. So the normal controls that you would have on a camera on this. So if I hit zoom, it'll zoom on me using the zoom. You can flip the camera even. Oh, hello. That's not very flattering, is it? Turn on the flashlight. Gosh, that's a very messy keyboard. And you can have control over exposure. You can put effects on. We can make it sepia. Very sepia. And the exposure and the focus, etc., etc. So that's all working marvelously. We now got to get this into OBS. Sorry, it just disconnected my phone. And we're going to hit full screen, and that's going to open up a new tab, which is just the webcam. And we're just going to copy and paste that URL. So it should just be the IP/browserearths.html. And then if we go to OBS, we're going to create a new scene. And this is going to be called camera. Sorry, I'm going to rename that. Camera is too vague. Rename. I'm going to call it phone camera. And then if we select a source and we select browser, it's going to show up something like this. And this is the default browser for OBS. And all we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste that URL into there. And we're going to change the width to 1920 by 1080. And we're going to refresh browser when scene becomes active. And we're going to hit refresh cache of current page. We're going to hit OK. And now my webcam, my phone, is now a camera. Brilliant stuff. And if I transition that to go live in about 30 seconds, it's going to show up on Facebook. So it's going to show up in my producer view first. We'll just give it a moment. My phone disconnected. There we go. It's reconnected now. Hey, look at that. And that'll be going live in a moment. And it's important to note that when going live, there is approximately a 30-second delay, possibly more, to it. Excellent. Hey, that was easy. So, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to connect Skype for web calling. So if I'm going to pause the video here and I'm going to go get my wife and I'm going to give her a call on Skype. Okay, so we're all set to do a video call. We're going to be using Skype today, and we're going to be calling my wife. Now, there's a few things to keep into consideration when calling people for a live stream. And the first is preparedness. You want to test everything before the stream. Do a rehearsal if possible. And once you've made your call before the stream, stay connected with them right up until they go live. There's no point hanging up on them and then calling them again 2 minutes before they're going onto Facebook. There's just too many things to go wrong if you do that. So yeah, stay connected. Secondly is queuing them. So if they're just watching the live stream, as I mentioned earlier, there's about a 30-second delay. So if they're waiting for themselves to show up on the live stream, they're going to be up there for 30 seconds before they realize it. So they're going to be sitting there awkwardly waiting. So there's a few ways around this. And the easiest way is to just talk to them. If you're not using your audio microphone for your stream, you can just talk into Skype like normal, or you can chat it in and just give them maybe a 30-second warning, then a 10-second warning, and then tell them when they're live so that they can start talking. So let's call my wife. She's going to be our example, and we're going to check everything that you'd typically check before a stream goes live. So here's Skype here. We're going to give her a video call. Ah, awesome. We can see you. Hello.
Hi.
So the very first thing you want to check with the person on the other end of the call is, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. And we can hear you. So let's get her into OBS. Over here in scenes, we're going to add a new scene, and we're going to call this Skype Rachel. And then we're going to add a source, and we're going to select a window capture source. And I'm just going to call this Skype Rachel. And there you go, showed up immediately. If it hasn't shown up for you immediately, this window option here, this will bring up all the windows that you have open on your desktop at the moment. And you just want to select Skype. Excellent. So let's get her filling up the view, and we will move her into the center. And as you can see, the UI is on top and bottom. There is a way around this, which I'll show you later. But for now, we're just going to zoom in on her face so that it takes up the whole screen and the UI is cut out. Excellent. So she is now on our Facebook live stream. In about 30 seconds time, she's going to be able to see herself. But there's a few things that we need to check before that. So Rachel, can you count to 10 for me, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
So
6,
what we're checking
7.
for here is that she is showing up as an input. So because we're just listening to her normally on Skype, it's just coming through our desktop audio, which is just here. So she's metering strongly, and I can see she's metering in the recording as well. Thank you, Rachel. So the next thing we're going to check is that they're wearing headphones. If they need to be listening to something, if you're doing an interview or talking to them, they need to be wearing headphones, because if it's coming out of their speakers, it's going to come out of the speakers and back into their microphone. It's going to create a feedback loop, which doesn't sound very nice. So Rachel very thankfully is wearing headphones already, so that is good. The other thing is to check the camera level. So if they're on a laptop, it's likely that the camera is pointing up under their chin, which isn't usually a very flattering angle. So if possible, you want to ask them to get the camera up to eye level or just above eye level. See, Rachel's not too bad. It's a little bit low, but it's mostly good. And this angle was much more engaging and nicer to look at. So that's good. And then and then the next thing to do is to make sure they are well lit and not dark. Make sure their face in the foreground is brighter than the background.
I didn't do a very good job of lighting, sorry.
No, so as you can see, the wall behind her is actually brighter than her face. Now this is just a tutorial, so we're not going to fuss over it too much, but if there's a window nearby, maybe ask her to sit next to a window or something like that to get some natural light in. Or possibly, if she has a desk lamp, turn the desk lamp on and the light above her off that's behind her. So that is pretty much everything we need to know about going live. Let's have a look at the live stream. Rachel, you can probably see the live stream on your
I got
phone.
it already.
Oh, you got it already?
There's my face.
Ah, look, she's looking at herself on her phone. Excellent. So that's all working very well. And now it's important to do a rehearsal stream as well. You want to check everything with this person, not just for your own confidence, but for the confidence of the person on the other end as well. Do you feel confident, Rachel?
I feel pretty confident.
Okay. I don't think you're going to make a fool out of yourself in this stream, so I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Thank you.
So now we're going to hang up on her.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Rachel.
See you later. That's all right. Bye.
Awesome. So the great thing about that method is because you're just capturing a window on your computer, you can use it for any video calling service you want. So it could be Zoom, it could be Discord, or even FaceTime, Messenger, something like that. That method will apply to anything. Just window capture, and then you're away. So the next thing I'm going to show you is NDI. NDI is a protocol that outputs video over a network. So if you have two computers on a local network together, you can have them talking to each other essentially. So this is great if you have two people helping you do a stream. You can have someone outputting footage for you, maybe overlays, so like Bible verses or words, which you can then overlay onto your footage like we've done here on this video. So as you can see, all we did for that, we did that in church, and church already has a computer that does projection. So instead of having to go to a projector, we had it a display capture on that computer, outputting over NDI, and then that just overlaid onto the camera. It's very simple, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But also, as I mentioned earlier, NDI can be used with Skype. So I'll show you how to do this. If you hit these buttons here and go Settings and go Calling Advanced, you can then allow NDI here, which removes the UI from Skype, and all it has is the watermark. It just outputs the video, and then you can set that up as an input source by just hitting plus here, NDI source, and as you can see, Skype is showing up as an option. And it doesn't matter which computer it's on. So if you have a second computer connected to the network, you can have that output the video, which will then go to your streaming computer, which means you can have a second person looking after calling all the different people in your church, which is very handy, very, very handy. Okay, so I'm going to use my phone to show you my laptop, which is just sitting right there. And at the moment, I've just got a little bit of text on it and a Bible verse. Now, to get that to output over the NDI, you need to have that plugin installed like we did at the very start of this video. And at the top of OBS, there'll be a button called Tools, and then NDI output settings will be the bottom option there. And then you want to check main output, and then you can name it as well. So I just have it named OBS, which is the default. I'm going to show you that on the main computer, just here. So Tools, NDI output, main output, name it. That's all you have to do. And now, if I create a scene called laptop and an NDI source called laptop, which I typed terribly, oh my word, that is awful. It should come up as a source. So here we go, laptop, OBS. If we hit OK, it's going to think about it for a second. Hey, there we go. This is an output from my laptop, John 3:16. So what we can then do is, if it's an overlay, have it, sorry, I jumped the gun. So what this is then outputting is whatever is outputting in OBS. So the program output here is now going over the network, and this can run in the background. So you can minimize OBS now if you want on the second computer, and it'll just be always outputting that. So all I've done is in OBS set up a little text source and put that. But if you want to use your projector, you set up a display capture source and hit display to, or whichever display the projector is going to, and then that'll capture it like the words are here. And then what we can do is if it's like an overlay or maybe like a lower half with someone's name on it, like pastor, etc., is speaking, you can have that overlay as a lower half. So if we go to our phone camera here, I'm going to set up our laptop as an NDI source. I'm going to make sure it's above the camera, and as you can see, it's showing up. Beautiful. But we can't see the camera now. So what we do is an NDI source, we're going to right click it and go to filters. And you know how you have green screens and stuff like that? This is where we can do green screens if you want to do green screens. If you do a green screen, you want to do chroma key. And you can key the color in, and then there's a few settings here. But because we're filtering out black from the white text, we're going to go Illuma key, which is here. And as you can see, it's now filtered out the black. Not very well, but we can adjust the smoothness on that and make it look a lot nicer. So now, as you can see, the text is overlaying on our footage. So I can now move around my phone camera, and I can change what's outputting on my laptop, and it will automatically change on the stream computer. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do it with one hand. So as you can see, that's the output off my laptop. I'm going to select that text, and I'm going to type in hello. And that has immediately changed on the stream computer. Very neat. So you can see hello is showing up right there. And I can move that around now. Isn't that just a little trippy? Okay. So that's all I wanted to demonstrate for you today. That's going to give you enough knowledge to then go on and learn some more things in the software yourself. Again, like I said earlier, this is a very well-worn piece of software. There's a lot of material already online, so if there's something you want to know how to do, you can do it. So I'm going to stop streaming, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up Our City. So this is the service we ran a few weeks ago. So Our City as a church, we decided once we went into quarantine, we're going to pre-record anything. So there aren't any real live elements. The only live element is that we're switching from a holding slide to the video and then to the closing slide, and merging in some music as well, and doing things like that. So it's actually very simple on our end. So when I'm doing a service, it says welcome, I hit transition, and it just runs. And then when it's finished, I go, thank you for joining us. and that's sort of the process that we have to live stream. But the week before we started doing that, we actually did a real live stream at church, and we had a few camera phones set up and a webcam, just using stuff that we already had, because our church was, thoroughly unprepared to do a live stream, but we made it work. So we had a camera set up. So I have a scene here for cameras, and I have one with overlays, which had an NDI source, which is actually still set up, I think. So that I could overlay words from the projector, so we could run that all just like a normal church service. And then we had a pips as well for when they did announcements, so that the camera would go next to the projector slide, so you can see the announcements that would usually be on the projector, and stuff like that. So as you can see, it's all very simple and quite fun to use when it comes down to it. And yeah, so it's important to have a welcome slide. So, like in church, how you open the doors before the church service starts so that people can come in and take their seats. You want to do that with your live stream as well. You don't want to start it as soon as the live stream starts. You want to open the doors, let people come in, and then start your service. And the other thing that you probably want to have prepared is something that goes, oops, something went wrong, which we haven't needed to use yet, thankfully. But yeah, we're prepared for that situation. So that is roughly everything I wanted to cover in this video. Is there anything else I wanted to note? Yeah, I can't highlight enough the importance of running rehearsals, especially if you're having things happening live. You want to make sure that if any technical issues are going to happen, you want them to happen in a controlled environment, one where as few people are going to see your mistakes as possible. So yeah, rehearsal streams, test streams, do them. They are well worth it. So hey, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and useful. I'd recommend now spending some time using the software, and run your own live stream and do some fun things. Go for a walk with your phone and live stream from your phone to your computer to Facebook. And again, if there's anything you need to know, there are already many resources on Google. But if you need any help or any advice, my mobile number and my email are now on screen, so you can feel free to contact me and I'll talk you through anything. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Maybe I'll have a follow-up video. We'll see. Bye.